Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. So today I'm going through my sketchbook and I started this one in November and I finished it this month, so that's super exciting, especially because I'm not very good with sketchbooks. It's really exciting that I finished this one because it's a pretty big sketchbook. It has 60 pages. I have my new one, here it is, ready to get started, and you can even see the difference in the colours because this one's been out in the sun, which is no, you don't do that. So I cannot wait to get this one started. Anyway, let's just get straight into it. So this sketchbook is actually a runoff from another one that I completed around Inktober, and that sketchbook only had about 20 pages, and it was kind of the start of something new for me last year because I was consistently getting art block and I needed to find a way to get out of it. So I thought maybe having a sketchbook would really help because there were no expectations, not on my part anyway. It was just experimenting and see how I got on. So I'm sort of in the middle here. When I open this up, you're going to see that I was in the middle of doing Juvember. To make things kind of easier on myself, I just did portraits, but also I wanted to find a way to stylize them. So obviously we're on the yellows here and I have the colors here, and I was using Copic markers here. I remember this one, all of these are reels as well. I remember this one was a serious trust the process moment because I tend to color before I do lines, and this one looked really bad. So if you want to go back and have a look at that, because there was a lot of faith there. I really like this one. And this one too, because of all the sparkles. I never draw men. Well, not never, but very rarely. So I wanted to use this page to draw some beautiful boys, especially this one. Purple is a really difficult colour to use, I find. I also wanted to practice expressions and make sure I got in some side profiles because I really struggle with side profiles. Really like this one. I love how this one turned out. And this one, I just gave her elf ears because I think, you know, with the pixie haircut, it just really suited her. So Juvember, I think it's a really interesting challenge because it takes a lot of the decision-making stresses away because you can pretty much draw everything once you have a sort of color palette to work with, and finding colors for things can be some of the most stressful parts of drawing, I think. So I really love Juvember and I've done it 2 complete years now, so I'd really suggest doing it. So we did some Wednesday fan art when Wednesday came out. Really loved the show. I was just really pleasantly surprised by it. There's some Enid and Principal. Call Me Chris. I don't know, I think I'd been going through just a TikTok scroll, like, you know, when you just can't stop scrolling TikTok, and Chris just seems to always come up on my TikTok, and I went onto her page and I probably spent at least an hour just watching all of her videos, and I love all of her characters, so I really wanted to draw her, especially because she's so expressive. This was something just to, I think I may have been having a difficult time around this point because Juvember was done and I didn't really have a focus or a goal. So I needed something to kind of break through the sense of art block I felt I was getting. So what I normally do is I'll just pick a single color and just draw a very simple portrait and just color it in that way. And it kind of makes you feel like you've done a lot of work, but you haven't, and I've kept it simple so that, again, there's not much thought behind it. This is my OC, and I didn't name her. Oh, I did, actually. Somebody on Instagram named her for me. Her name is Liz. So I drew her back in Juvember in my other sketchbook, which I should probably show as well because that was an interesting sketchbook. So my previous sketchbook, I drew her for obviously the yellows, and I just really liked her design. So I just wanted to kind of explore a bit more, just pulling poses from Pinterest and just inserting Liz into them. So just to clarify, a lot of my drawings and sketches, I will take references from Pinterest, you know, like poses or color palettes or clothing. Sometimes they're just studies. So that's something I would really recommend if you're struggling, you know, maybe just for inspiration, but also, I mean, if you need a reference, you need a reference. You need a reference. So yeah. Yeah, I think I was starting to loosen up around here because I don't know if you sensed it from the previous ones. I think I was still very scared of this sketchbook because it was so new and like the paper is really nice and you never really want to ruin a sketchbook and it's a hard mindset to get out of. But I feel like, when was this? March, I really started to feel like, okay, this is my safe space to just do whatever I want. The whole point of this was to get out of my art block and to experiment. So I can feel with these lines and stuff, you can see that they're quite messy. So I was really happy that I felt like that looseness was coming through in my art. I really, really, really love this page. Like as a whole, just the page looks really, really nice. And I think I used some gold pen here. The gold pen I am using, I'm not too sure, it's not at hand, but I will link it when I find it. And I also use some washi tape. Yeah, I use some washi tape here too, because I didn't want to draw the pattern. It was too detailed and I just really liked this design. So yep, that's what I did there. And it's actually a really fun technique to use to bring some intricate design elements into your sketches and keeping it simple. Just a cutie girl, like all these poses again from Pinterest. I will link my Pinterest actually, my Pinterest boards, and then you can see all the references that I've collected. But she's very cute, even though her head is too big. And I think I've mentioned this in a video, my reel maybe, that her head is a little bit too big, but that's okay. Another cool, simple, kind of like my previous one where I just used the one color, but instead I picked 3 colors from the same color group, just so I could bring some values and a little bit of depth to these drawings. So yeah, I just really, really love these actually. I really, really like this one the most. I think maybe it's just because I love pink so much that anything I draw with pink, I automatically just love it. I remember this day really clearly. I was having just a really, really bad day and I really wanted to draw and it was bugging me so much that I felt like I didn't have any ideas this day. I just didn't know what to do, didn't know what colors to pick. So I went on to a fashion website, like where you can buy clothes. And I found all of these, they sell all of these things on their website. I have to go look for it. It kind of reminds me of Lazy Oaf, the kind of style of clothing, but it's not them. So I decided just to pick the clothes that I saw and I created, a character and put her in the clothes. And I don't know, it just really, I felt really happy afterwards because I felt like I found a way to overcome an incoming art block. Like it was definitely going to happen. So I was really, really glad when it was done. I felt kind of refreshed or something. And similar here, I think I was looking up cute stuff on Pinterest. And this is, what is that person's name on YouTube? I can't remember the name, but it's the person that wears the cat box head. So yeah, cute bag as well. I really want that bag. Ariel. I don't know why my mind just went completely blank there. Ariel. So it's May, so it's mermaid obviously, and I wanted to participate in mermaid, but I find mermaid really stressful. Not like all the other challenges because it has to be a it has to be a mermaid or some sort of variation of a sea creature or mermaid. So I started and I wanted to draw just some stylized Ariels, just kind of practicing a little bit with kind of different expressions, different styles. So it's a cute little page actually, and there's the colors. Just another cutesy girl. I wanted to start practicing drawing shoes because I guess I just don't draw full length poses too often. So that means I'm missing out on drawing things that I should be, you know, things that I lack practice. So I obviously looked on Pinterest up some really cute shoes, and I saw these and I was like, yep, I want them, I'm going to draw them. So yeah, this little character is just kind of modeling all these cute things that I saw. I didn't even finish this one, but I think this is based on a reference of Winona Ryder. All of these sketches take me maybe 20 minutes or so. I don't want to spend too long on them because then I feel like I will fall into the trap of trying to make everything perfect. So I do give myself a time limit of 20 minutes from sketch to finishing the complete picture. This one's cute. I really love this. And this one, I had different color nails when I drew this one, and these are all the colors that my nails were. So it was green, blue, light purple, dark purple, and yellow. So I decided to create a character just wearing those colors. This one I actually have a video on here where it shows my full process of this particular image. So that's referenced again off Pinterest, and I wanted to just really, really stylize it, make it a lot more cartoony and brighter than the actual reference. And I really like how it turned out, and pink, love it. Did some Billie Eilish studies. This one was tough. Red is a very hard color to work with. It's so saturated a color, and I feel like it's just so easy to get it wrong. So I thought I need to start pushing myself and start using colors I don't normally use because I'm just addicted to using pastel colors. So it turned out okay. You know, I'm happy enough with it. And this one, she's giving me Grinch vibes here. Oh, some dogs. Yeah, I started drawing dogs digitally, and I have them on my other account on my Instagram. But I felt like, you know, I have to kind of practice them traditionally as well, because it's easy to make mistakes when you draw digitally because you can erase them. So things are a bit more permanent when you are doing them in a sketchbook. And obviously the whole point is to just kind of be loose with it. So I decided, you know, grab a few references of some good boys and draw them. And I particularly like the way this one came out. I just like how I colored it. It's quite loose. You can see all the brush marks. It's kind of in chunky little areas, and I really like how that turned out. Just another kind of shoe practice, and yeah, I just kind of like this whole idea for a character. I think I might have been exhausted again. This is May, because I went back to a single pastel color just to practice doing some portraits. This one was a really fun one to do because I was practicing using gradients with markers, and I felt like it was a waste just to do gradient practices with just, you know, lines of color. So I thought it would be a good idea to do it on hairstyles. So I picked the best colors that work together, and that is really, really hard. Like, it's so difficult to get certain shades and certain colors to blend well together. And I actually have some mini tutorials on these actual blends if you want to go check those out. And here's actually my practices. So I have them all listed here if you want to try them out for yourself, but they work pretty well. Some more stylized figure studies. Love this one. I felt like I don't really draw more voluptuous women, and I don't know why, but I used to a lot actually when I was doing more digital art. But I definitely wanted this page to make sure that I drew someone with more curves. So that's how this lady was born, and I just wanted to do a really simplified, stylized little portrait too. What are we up to? We're in June now. Oh, this was just for reels. I just needed like a sign-off thing, so drew that in there. This one kind of took off a little bit on TikTok. Got some love. Obviously, it got some hate too. But this is a character that I designed. You know, I'd had so much fun doing the gradient hair that I wanted to create a character that had this gradient hair. But I saw these shoes and this actual picture on Pinterest, and I just loved them so much. I had to draw them. So I developed her, I think, further on. Yeah, actually, right here. So I decided, okay, I need to try and give her a personality, something that she would wear, practice some expressions as well. And I ended up naming her Eve. This might be the only... This actually might be the only page where I haven't coloured it in, and that's because I forgot to do it. I drew it, I put it down, I went away to do whatever I do, and I completely forgot to come back and draw it. But I really love, I actually really love how I can just see all the colours in the coloured pencils. So maybe I need to do more of that often, but just not in a marker sketchbook, because that kind of defeats the point of having a marker sketchbook. But this is where I started using two colours to sketch. So in this one you can see it's like an orangey red and a purple, and this one is a blue and orange. And I started doing that more regularly to kind of bring a lot more depth and life to my sketches before I put the markers down. Just another cutie. This is my OC as a spider sewner. So I wanted to use those shoes and socks that I saw before that I loved so much. I really wanted to incorporate them into this design. So this is kind of how it was born. So super colourful. Obviously it's inspired heavily off Spider-Gwen's costume, but just a couple of changes and kind of like a racer idea as well with the sides here. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. So I obviously saw Barbie and I loved it, as did most people. And when I love something, I tend to become obsessed when it comes to sketching. So I started drawing a lot of the Barbie characters, and you can see all the reels of those on my channel. But yeah, I really wanted to try and stylize them. You know, I wasn't aiming to make them look like the actual actors. But I just really wanted to capture, you know, their expressions, their poses, but, you know, try and put it in my style. So this got popular very, very quickly on most of my pages, which is incredible. You know, I'm so glad that so many people got to see it, and I got so many lovely comments on it too. So, you know, it was really, really nice. Ken was probably my favourite though, and I don't know, it's probably an unpopular opinion, but I think just Ryan Gosling just played him so well. I cannot think of anyone else who could have played him so good, and I enjoyed his character so much. I thought he brought a lot to the movie. The Ken fight was particularly a highlight for me, and the song that is probably in everybody's heads. Had to do Alan. Definitely a firm fan favorite. Michael Cera played him just like, it was just perfection. And again, really stylized. Like, you know, it doesn't really look like him, but that's okay. And yeah, a lot of comments about this little bit here. It was supposed to say horses, but a lot of people wanted to let me know that the R and the S wouldn't quite fit in there, so... More Ken. Yeah, I'm obsessed. Obsessed with this sweater. And I got a lot of questions about the skin tones that I use for these characters, obviously because it got so much attention. A lot of people wanted to know the markers that I used. So I had been using Ohuhu markers pretty much from March all the way through. So these are all Ohuhu, and these are the skin tone colors, and there's the codes, how I blended them. And I also swatched some Artex acrylic markers. They were sent to me and I just had to swatch them somewhere, so this page was the right place to do it. A Barbie aesthetic inspired girly again, I just saw some clothes. It's like they look like Barbie clothes, so let's just create a character in them. Weird Barbie. Yeah, she's a great character. Really, really enjoyed her character. And Sasha and Gloria, I really loved how they dealt with their relationship in this movie. I thought, relationships are really complicated, especially between a mother and a daughter. Obviously, I know that as a daughter, but now that I'm a mum as well to a little girl and a little boy, but in particular a little girl, I can see how difficult it can be. And, she's only small right now, but I'm hoping that we have a really, really good relationship as she gets older. I think we will, but I don't know, it's something about them just really resonated with me, and I just love to see how their relationship developed. So this is when I was practicing using the Artex acrylic markers, and I started watching Ahsoka, and yeah, so I just this was my first try using them. And I enjoyed them, but I've had no experience using paint pens before, so it was a little bit difficult and took me longer than I would like. So I tried again, and this technique is completely different to anything I've ever done before because I didn't use any black pen to line, which is so unlike me. So a bit more practice with the Artex markers here, and just another random. What was my thing here? I think I just wanted to do some expression studies here. Something fairly simple. So kind of like surprise, happy, tired / sick, and what the hell? And I just love her little tooth gap. I added that in. I was like, she's keeping that because it's adorable. Yep, One Piece, another obsession. Yeah, I binged the season, and I've never seen One Piece or read One Piece before, so this is all completely new to me, and I absolutely loved it. It's fantastic. So the rest of the sketchbook is all One Piece, so I really hope you like One Piece. So I wanted to draw Monkey D. Luffy. I'm aware that the color of his skin is probably a bit too dark. I didn't take into account that 2 layers of my marker were going to come out much, much darker than they should. So this is 2 to 3 layers of this marker because it was quite streaky and he's come out a lot darker. So I was called out on that, and that's okay. So we have Roronoa Zoro. Really, really liked his character actually, and just he had an interesting development throughout the first season, I thought. So yeah. Nami, really liked her character too. And I think the best thing about One Piece is everyone's character grew so much because of Luffy and his kind of positive influence on them. I really love that. Usopp, he's a great character, isn't he? He gives off the kind of golden Labrador, golden retriever energy, and I don't know, he's just very, very adorable. I don't know, he's just a really nice character. I really, really enjoyed all the scenes with him in it. Sanji, yeah, I really like Sanji. Just a really, really cool character, and easy on the eyes too. This is my last page, and I really wanted to dedicate it to all of the villains in One Piece because, as I was saying in a live stream where I was sketching these out, villains always have the best designs and they always have the best stories because you know they have like some sort of an origin story, and they always get the best lines because most of the time they're kind of crazy. So I really want to dedicate this to my favorite villains of the show. So here we are. We have Captain Kuro, we have Arlong, Mihawk, and Buggy. So yeah, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this tour. It was kind of a lot of rambling, and yeah, just a lot of drawings that I've done in the past couple of months. I'd recommend this sketchbook. It's the Ohuhu marker sketchbook. If I can just, yeah. So it's the Ohuhu marker sketchbook. It's quite thick paper. Obviously, I mean, it's still going to bleed through, but that's why you have these plastic sheets. They come with the sketchbooks. So you place it down on the sheet below before you start using your markers. But of all the sketchbooks that I've used, I found that it bleeds the least. And the most important thing to me, obviously, is that it's not bleeding out too much on the page I'm actually using. So definitely something I would recommend if you're interested in looking for something new to use. And yeah, so hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video.